Welcome to my part of my career so far in weather and climates. Yeah, I'm Ravi Kotecha and I'm the weather risk manager for UK transport at DTN. So just a brief um, introduction into who I am. So I'm from Watford in Hertfordshire, and I've, unlike everyone else, got A levels in England in maths, geography, and physics, and I achieved an A, B, and C in those. And yeah, when I was initially applying to universities, I mainly applied to the University of Reading on the MET course, and also the University of Leeds on a BSc in meteorology. And because of my grades, I was accepted onto the BSc course at Reading for meteorology and climate. That was because pretty much my C in physics wasn't quite good enough at the time. However, as Thomas was just talking about, I transitioned from the BSc to the MET similarly to Thomas. I won't go over my degree all that much because Thomas has just talked about it very extensively. But yeah, years 1 and 2 were spent sort of learning the building blocks of meteorology, and years 3 and 4, one in Oklahoma, was spent applying those building blocks, which allowed you to explore a huge variety of meteorology. And also the final part of my 4th year, including the final exams, took place during COVID as well. So that was quite an experience as well. Whilst I was at university, I worked as a student forecaster for what was then Meteor Group and is now DTN. And that was from my 2nd year onwards. And yeah, we analysed a variety of weather charts and wrote forecasts for newspapers, both national and regional. So I think on the right-hand side is the Daily Express. And I think that was one of the first ever media forecasts that I ever wrote. So I took a picture of that. And then also between my 3rd and 4th year, and also during Christmas in 4th year, I worked in the UK Weather Room when it was in London, writing forecasts for both the BBC and other media clients as well. So in my final year, whilst I was doing my my final exams, I applied for a full-time job at DTN. And initially that job was in London, but halfway through my application, the transport team moved from London to Utrecht in the Netherlands. And so I moved over with it in August 2020, still during COVID. So yeah, that picture on the right is a picture of Utrecht city centre, which is where I am now. And obviously during COVID, all the bars and restaurants were shut. So now those will be full with people sitting by the canal. And I also went straight into working from home in lockdowns and curfews, and obviously, like Kirsty, doing shift patterns as well. So they can be fairly unsociable, but you do get a lot of free time in between that. So I think that was my first ever night shift at home as well, which was good fun. So what do UK transport what does that entail? So we deliver weather and road forecasts for a variety of clients. Those are usually city and county councils, but then also we get some national bodies as well. And we focus on forecasting what the hazards might be for those clients. And those are generally centered around frost, ice, and snow and freezing rain. So on the top, you can see like a hazard summary table, which is an example of what a client might see on a typically busy night. So we can see our road surface temperature is below 0. We've also got about 0.5 centimetre of snowfall, and we're also expecting black ice and hoarfrost as a risk. So certainly this client would have gone out gritting for this night in particular. And we also respond in real time to changing conditions. And then that is 24/7, 365 as well. So sadly, that does involve Christmases, birthdays, New Year's, and such like. But yeah, so when I say respond in real time, that means, say in Northern Ireland, as you can see from the picture, the road surface temperature is predicted to be above 0. If we think halfway through the night that actually is going to be below 0, we will call up the client and say, we think it's going below 0 now, and they'll probably start gritting as soon as they can. So going into a little bit more depth, this is an example of a couple of graphs that we might look at. So I want to focus on is the red line, which is the surface temperature, and the green line, which is the dew point temperature. So the surface temperature at the first arrow is going below 0. So that's the point where we might start seeing some hazards. And then the green line is the dew point temperature. And that's when, and we can see that at the second arrow, the road surface temperature is below the dew point temperature. And that means the air just above the road is fully saturated and it will condense, but instead of forming dew, because it's below 0, it will turn to hoarfrost, which is very much a hazard and makes our roads very slippery indeed. And then on the second picture, you can see the road surface temperature just basically flatlining around -1 Celsius. And in this example, we see quite often when there is snow about. So this is actually from March this year, when we saw quite a lot of snow over large parts of the UK. And this particular site was at Cat and Fiddle, which is a site on the Derbyshire-Cheshire border, where there was around 30 centimetres of snow. So quite a lot of snow there. Another part of my job is with the BBC. So currently DTN have the BBC weather contract, and we have a dedicated team that are in London, and they brief the presenters and also edit the graphics that you might see on TV. And my team, the UK transport team, writes a variety of scripts, and we also edit the data that you might see on the app or the website as well. And the final part of the sector of meteorology that we work in is utilities. So a variety of utility companies are interested in lots of different weather types. It's mainly centered around hazards, again, similar to transport. But for utilities, the main hazards are lightning, strong winds, snow, something called line icing, and high temperatures as well. And we also do some real-time monitoring for them as well. And again, in summer, that's centered around lightning strikes. So we're fairly busy at the moment, especially from the last week and also into this weekend and next week as well. So this is an example from last weekend and into next week for a forecast. So we sort of talk about what the chances of lightning strikes are going to be, whether they're going to be infrequent or frequent, and we also have risk categories associated with that. And on the picture on the right-hand side, you can see all the lightning strikes that occurred on Monday, just gone, and they were close to 28,000 lightning strikes in total. So quite a lot of lightning that went across the UK. And then finally, since September 2022, I have become the weather risk manager. So that means I lead the transport team as well as take part in all the shifts that are within it. There's currently 10 people within the team and soon to be 11 as well. And one of the main aspects of my job is roster writing. So I have to write the rosters a month in advance for everyone within the team. And so above is an example of what we had in November. So it's quite a tricky job, especially in the winter months when there's a lot of shifts going on. And we also have contact with sales and customer services and product owners. So using sort of communication skills that you might learn in your degree is really important when you're communicating with other maybe non-meteorological inclined people as well. And I also run training sessions for my team, whether that's refreshing their knowledge in meteorology or just informing them of new updates to our own internal systems as well. Awesome. So yeah, thank you for listening.